Okay, guys. Well, I'm not quite as prepared as I like to be. I like to have these notes, but that's what happens when you're um, kind of doing it on the fly here. We're just live. All right. Yeah, a lot of changes coming to the video stuff. Um, I'm gonna just say that. Let's see. Okay. All right. So one of the first things I'm going to say, I mean, I'm going to be pushing, I'm going to be talking about this more and more as I do more videos. I'm going to be talking about our Facebook, or I'm sorry, our YouTube page. I'm going to be working on building videos on there. So if you look us up on, boy, I mean, I looked myself up and I couldn't even find me, so I had to actually change my account. So I got a lowly 23 subscribers. That's because I never update videos. Obviously, you see, a year ago was my last video or something. But hey, Mark, thanks for joining us. Yeah. So I'm going to be making a bunch. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos, and I'm going to be posting them to the Florida Toy Show's YouTube page. I'm going to be trying to integrate what we're doing here with the live videos. I'm going to be trying to integrate that with YouTube, YouTube chat, and doing the whole thing that you see online, which is, my daughter actually uses it. She has I think it's OWS or something like that. Anyway, where you got a panels where, there'll be a chat and everything. So you guys can do that. Hey, Tony there and Jonathan, how are you? Thanks for coming. So I am going to be updating this page. Now, what am I going to be putting on that page? Well, I got me a new camera. I got this new DJI thing. So you're going to see, this weekend, I took some behind the scenes. I'm going to call it behind the scenes, kind of from the promoter view of how things are. I just did a quick little, when I say quick, I mean, it maybe be a 10-minute video or something like that when it's done. I'll remove this for a minute just to make myself bigger. And I took a thing when I got there. I actually got to the Polish Club at 5:30 in the morning, because we had that new space to open up. So I got there around 5:30, and only one of the rooms was fully set up, but they got it done, and the second room got set up before vendors got there and all that. So I'm kind of documenting that, the process of what the room looks like, vendor setup, the show, what happens, and then I didn't really video the end, but I'm going to put that together in a video just so you guys can get an idea. And what the other thing I'm going to do, so you're going to have some behind the scenes thing. You're going to probably have some stuff that I wouldn't normally put on Facebook, which is goofy things like my opinions on shows, on why different attendance happens, or I'm also planning on going to other shows and doing some recording, and I think some of you guys will be you'll probably get a kick out of some of the reactions of other people. I mean, being there. I love toys and buying that stuff. So sometimes it seems to be a little controversial, me being at other people's shows, which I think is kind of weird. But anyway, because I think our shows at this point are pretty unique. We're not a Comic-Con. Everybody kind of knows that. We're not an anime show. We're not a cosplay show. We're not any of those things. So I think hopefully everybody, and then, we do our store walk-ins, the store walkthroughs. We're going to do that, and we're going to do some unboxings. And I'm going to leave the camera here in just a minute, and we'll talk a little bit at the end here sometime. I'm going to show a couple pieces that I got this weekend. Okay, so the Palm Beach show. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me get those photos up. I just want to share my let's see. Give me a second here to bring that up. And all right, so I got this photo. I just wanted to say happy birthday to Keith Coogan, and whose birthday it is today. This was taken at the Olive Garden. We always me and my wife go to the Olive Garden down the street on the way out of the show when we're done, and we invited them to join us, and it was really, really nice dinner we had there. But anyway, just wanted to share that. Happy birthday. And let's see, this is a couple pictures that I took yesterday. This is the line. I don't know why it says, 9:02. Okay. So this is like right when we opened the door. Actually a couple minutes after you open the door. So we had a decent line yesterday. If you guys weren't there, we never know how many people are going to come up. I mean, yesterday's show was a record crowd for that venue. And so, last year I think we had rain, and so we don't, you never know how many people are going to show up. We usually have a good crowd. I think our friend Mark will agree with that it's a great show, and other people, you'll see them there in the picture over on the right. But some vendors come and go, but this show sells out as soon as basically when I leave. Like, for instance, I think I have 3 tables right now, and 2 of them are in the second room. So, which is this room here. You'll see it. There are a lot bigger spaces. And so our Pokemon guy won't be coming back only because there's some big show down there on that date. So the next date for Greenacres, West Palm Beach, is March 9th. March 9th again. I'll bring up the schedule here in a minute, but March 9th is the next show there. It was a great event. There's nothing I can, really say, really say that was, wasn't great about it. I mean, everybody was great. I mean, Abe sold lots of food. I mean, he sold out of hamburgers. And he was busy all day. We had people even after 3 come in. Sometimes that really doesn't happen, but all the way until we decide, closing, basically, we had people there buying stuff in that. So I think hopefully everybody was happy. All the vendors went home happy. And I mean, I think the only thing that came up on my side was having the second door really created some security issues. And then the other thing is, I had a couple people that were talking about Google and finding our shows. So that brings a question for you guys that I'm going to try to post, maybe set a separate post. But if you want to throw that out there, what I'm saying is, where do you? I mean, I know we're on Facebook now, but where do you look for shows? Where should we be putting our show? Other than Facebook, Instagram, that's kind of what I've been doing. And I'm also started to narrow down location, because we're doing so many locations. There's no reason to, we kind of have to narrow our focus on because people don't drive. I used to think, people are going to come from Orlando to, Tampa or something like that. But that usually doesn't happen now. Like, I mean, we were talking about our Port St. Lucie show, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. Some of the vendors and different customers were like, "Nah, I'm not going to drive up there." I mean, it was like 50 miles. I mean, that's like the beach to me. So I mean, I understand, I guess, but just goes to show you that people aren't really driving. I mean, and then vendors. We even have vendors that are like, nah. I mean, that's really the problem is, they don't want to drive it. They don't want to travel. But I'm going to say, if you're a vendor and you're not willing to drive and you're only selling to the customers that are in your area, then you're going to run out of customers eventually. Run out of bigger, more regular. I mean, you just can't milk. I know Orlando is big and everything, but you can't milk that area and expect to have great sales every time. Okay. And okay, yeah, that's legit there. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, now I will say, unless it's a special show or something like, or that you want to do something. The other thing, let's see, we'll say, just a side note here, Chris, I did send out a message about when the setup. Chris will be in a vendor here this weekend coming up at Fort Myers. I did send a message out earlier about setup. Yeah, people spend to the end. Yes. Well, that means don't take down. So I guess, again, where do you, my question would be for you guys is, where do you look for shows other than Facebook and Instagram? Then you can, I would love to know that. That way, maybe we should advertise in those locations. Yesterday, I had a guy come and tell me I should maybe put an ad in Craigslist on the garage sale page or something. And I think, huh? Well, I'm not saying no immediately. I just thought that people weren't using that, but I could be wrong.
I wouldn't look for a show on Craigslist under garage sales.
Okay, but that's you.
I'm just saying.
My wife's always in the background in my chair over here. All right, let's see, Chris. All right, Chris. You were up in I think I saw your name on. Okay, you live in Tarpon Springs. You drive up to 2 or 3 hours. Okay. All right. Wow. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and large venue, 2-day show, established show with proven success. Well, hey, I'm telling you, stick with the winner, buddy. Yeah, no, I agree with that, and that's what I kind of told the guy on the Craigslist, but I thought it was interesting that someone said that, but they did say that to me. And then Marketplace, yes, I probably should be posting on Marketplace. So that's good. But really, that's the only thing I feel like we could have done better yesterday. We had food. There was a lot of trading. There was a lot of people bringing stuff in, which, I think it's funny because Mark always, after the show and other people, they'll come to me, oh, look what I got. Look what somebody brought in. And I'm like, no one ever talks to Jeff about any of this stuff, but it's okay. It's all right. I assume they might think that, I'm going to yell at them or something. I'm not that bad, but I am very protective of the vendors and the shows. We get people that post, hey, can I bring this to trade, or are vendors buying this? Vendors are there to sell stuff. They're not really mostly, yes, there are people buying stuff, but in general, they're paying for a table to sell stuff. They're not there to buy, in general. So what I'm afraid of is if you buy a ticket and you come in and you're selling stuff, that negates the reason to even have a show. Like, why would vendors pay for a table? I don't know if you guys ever been to a sneaker show, or they used to do on the Funko shows. People would bring in wagons full of Funko and all this stuff, and it can be a real mess. And then the vendors are asking themselves, why am I buying a table when I could just come in here and sell or whatever? There is a term for that, which is funny because Ed Bartis, old friend, he never heard of it either, but it is called suitcasing. That's what it's called, suitcasing. I found that on the IAPA website. Okay, let me go ahead and before I go to Fort Myers, just kind of go over some of these. And okay, Todd, as many as you had yesterday, You advertise spot on. Okay, yeah. What we were thinking afterwards, because that's one of the things we do when we go to dinner afterwards, is we were thinking, okay, is it the advertising now? Because I think we had around 1,400 interested in going, and we certainly got more than that, or more than the average that I normally usually. I mean, on a low scale, we would get 25%. On a higher scale, we get 40%. And so we got even more than 40% than what we had on the Facebook page. So I don't know if our reputation or whatever is getting out there, or if it's just, the advertising, like you said, people know about it. I do look at Google for shows that I don't get notifications for, like yours. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, usually buy from each other. Oh, the vendors. Oh, you mean the people that bring the stuff in? Yeah, okay. Yeah, and that's what I'm also finding, but like we had a guy with a wagon yesterday and I said, "Look, we don't have room for that." I mean, I just showed a picture. Let me bring that up real quick again. I just showed you guys a picture of the show. That was yesterday at 9:46. Okay. There's no room for a wagon here. Okay. There just really isn't. Otherwise, nobody's going to be able to walk. So, and a 90s car show. Oh, I think I know who this is. But I think he's in Vegas. Isn't he in Vegas? Maybe not.
Michael.
Yeah, I think he's in Vegas. Yeah, I'll be there to unload my collection at Fort Myers. Okay. All right, Chris, make sure that you message me again, like what you're bringing, and I'll look for the pictures you posted in your application. But if you didn't, send me some pictures. I'm going to be asking for pictures later on. I'm going to be using application pictures starting tomorrow. So you're going to see a bunch of photos again for our show that's coming up in Fort Myers this weekend. And then let's see what Tony got here.
You guys already do that, a before and after show swap. You guys already do that.
Yeah, I think you guys already do that. But we can talk about that offline. All right, let me go ahead and go to Fort Myers. Let me go ahead and first of all, let's see, stop this. And I'm going to go to the schedule. Okay. Let me go ahead and go to the schedule here. I thought I had that up. Give me a second. But it looks like I don't. It's going to bring that up so I can show everybody here the current one. I just updated it. And hopefully you guys can forgive my typos here, because I'm not. I mean, on this one, I don't think there's typos, but there could be. The other day, I posted the thing with the wrong date on it, and I get in a hurry. All right. I'll get into Fort Myers here in a moment, but I just want to go over the schedule here again next weekend. I guess I didn't take that out. This is not the right schedule, guys. So not only did let me give you the current. That's like old. Sorry, I have a iMac here that I run, so I don't. Is this the right one? Let's see, they have two. Yeah. Okay. All right, this is correct. So we see here it's today's date. Oh, Mr. Damien is here. Hey man, I got the new camera. Creative Combo. Me and Damien have been talking. That's Retro Guy. We've been talking about the channel and getting videos and stuff. Anyway, so This is the schedule. So we're going to have, I'm going to talk a little bit about the schedule here. You got, Fort Myers is this weekend, and then the Convention Misfits. This is probably going to change. Okay. Actually, I probably should have waited to talk about this, but I'll go ahead and do that. I'm working on, right now, we only have this about a third full. Now, I'm going to tell you every other show. So, like, for instance, March 9th is basically sold out. I got like 2 tables left. Kissimmee is basically sold out. I do have tables in Sarasota and the Star Wars, but not a lot. And then Space Coast is, I would say, mostly sold. So I would say that's about 80% sold. So if you are a vendor and you're waiting around to fill out an app, then don't do that. Okay. Okay, I'll bring up your thing here and in a minute there, Tony. Shellhead Toys. I'll bring that up in a minute. Okay, but the Convention Misfits show, I'm gonna just say that this is probably gonna be rescheduled. Okay, and that's because it's not because I can't do it. We can't do the show. It's because we don't have, we have, I want to say Mark and Jason and these guys, but we're only about maybe half full on the tables right now. And we're about 3 weeks out, and there just isn't enough vendors available. They're all at MegaCon. All the normal, a lot of the vendors are at MegaCon. And then the cost, I'm assuming it's the cost or whatever. It's typically in Orlando, we would be have a waiting list by now, but I just think that there's just so much going on that week with MegaCon that people either they love the idea and think it's awesome, or they think, oh hell no, we're gonna not have a show, or so I just think that I'm talking to the hotel right now. I don't know if they're going to let me do, but we'll see what happens here in the next couple days. Probably I'll announce something like that, but it is something that I wanted to do. I planned, and then it just hasn't, so if the vendors are signed up, I've talked to a bunch of them already, but I will be contacting them. So I just on that note, okay. Because I'm talking about the MegaCon event, I just want to just really quick reiterate that, if there is in the business, this is a business that I'm in. Okay. Vendors are in the business of selling toys. I'm in the business of running shows and putting on shows and organizing shows. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. That doesn't mean that I don't love what I do, but it is a lot of work. And there's also a lot of, there isn't a lot of politics, but there's some. Okay. And I'm going to say, in Orlando, in particular, there's just a lot of shows. There's a lot of shows. And what happens is I don't really have, I really have no issues getting vendors at shows except for this particular one. In general, I haven't had any issues, but I just think there's so many events in that area now that it can, when you have something that's a little bit more expensive, like this was, because we wanted to do a Friday night and then a Saturday, the hotel, hotel's a lot of money. The space is a lot of money. Now, is it a lot of money in comparing to what? It's just a lot of money compared to something else in Orlando. Actually, it's not as much as Fort Lauderdale. It's not as much as St. Augustine. It's not as much as, but it is for, a day and a half, when I can buy a car for the price of what it's going to cost me to rent that space, Okay. You know, I'm not gonna, we got to have the vendors to come. So I am going to reschedule. It's probably going to be, so that means we're probably going to have an Avanti show. We're going to have an Avanti show anyway. We have another one in because I've contracted another one in June there, but we're probably going to have instead of having a Kissimmee show in the fall, we'll probably do that at Avanti because of this here. Because I do have a contract for that show, so everybody's tables will be probably moved to the next show, or they'll be moved to October because that's where I'm going to have to move it. Now it's not a done deal that I'm moving it. Okay, you know, something could change in the next couple of days, but that's is what I'm working on. I'm either working on moving it or seeing what other vendors are available for that. But in general, that probably is what I'm going to do. Yeah, in general, and that's another reason why you see me see us spreading out too, is that I feel like we need to get out there more. We need to not try to fill everything in one area. And people, I meet more vendors and all of that. So okay, let's see. No, I didn't. Oh, you're right about that, Jason. You know, I got there at night, so I'm going to be down there again soon. I'm going to come and see your Beretta Museum. I do want to see that. Okay, let me go ahead and go back up to and thanks there, Damien. Hey, I talked to my daughter about this, who's on YouTube all the time. I'm not gonna mess around here. I'm gonna get a mic. So maybe a couple weeks here, you'll see a mic boom here. And I bought the light. I got this giant light. You don't see it down here, but maybe I'll show it to you here in a minute. But got a giant light, and I got my ring light that's above here. So what you see it when my glasses go. So I got my ring light up here, and then I got a big giant one down, 19-inch one. Okay. And then of course I got the camera and the tripod and all of that jazz. So not quite fully ready to go yet, but soon. So yeah, thanks for all your support there. Okay, so let me go back to Tony's thing where about the meets, and I don't know. Let's see, they have to pay to get info for the swapping. The vendors want to attend, and then they can come from the customers at that time instead of interrupting the show during that. Okay, this actual idea, something like what you're talking about, is actually going to happen next July. Is I have a plan for this because we're going to be doing the space that we've used for Super RetroCon the last 2 years. We are using that building for Tampa Toy Con in July. So it's really big. So, I mean, it's about, well, for us, it's big. It's 40,000 square feet. I think it's 45,000 square feet. So one side where we had the arcade, if you guys have been to Super RetroCon, where we had the arcade and stage and all that, we're gonna have a swap area on Friday. I'm doing this. That's the plan. It's gonna be like a buying show on Friday. It's gonna be like a swap thing, and that's only Friday. So we'll have a vendor setup maybe thing, but there will be a swap area. I'm still working that out. And then in that same area, we're gonna have toy displays where like Lego and a bunch of toy displays that I've got. And I'm trying to remember what else I was gonna have in that area. And then in the main area, which is about 25,000 square feet, will be that's where the main show will be. And I'm gonna bring in some guests and stuff this time. That'll be in July. I'm planning to have that bigger building. I just think we've had a good crowd there for the last, several years. It's our biggest attended show of the year still, is July, Tampa Toy Con. And so we're gonna add some stuff to that. And then let's go back. Okay. These 1-day shows coming up only 1 day because of space or cost. Okay. No, let me go back to,
We have more 2-day shows this year, I think.
yeah, okay. So, all All right. So, no, what it is it's attendance. So, for instance, Space Coast is probably on this list. Other than our Star Wars show, it's the smallest show, and the lady there wants me to rent the space for the whole weekend, but I don't. The way the building is set up, um, the way the building is set up, it's just I just don't think there's enough people there to come to the show to justify a 2-day show. If you go over to I think Melbourne's, so the Melbourne, I'm going to say Rick and Mike Priest's show, I think they only do it one day also over there in Melbourne. I think I could be wrong, but I think that's what they do. And even Tom's show that he just sold the land has been one day up until just recently. I guess I've heard that it's going to be 2 days next year, but so the land show will be 2 days next year. But and then if we go back to South Florida, the reason why that's one day and not two is because the American Polish Club there, that's March 9th. The reason why that's not 2 days is because Saturday there it takes almost a year to book, because that's how we started. I booked the show in December for October. And then as I saw that it was going to be good, I tried to book another show the same year and it was gone. So Saturdays are booked out at those little smaller venues. And I've been trying to get, I think the fairgrounds management at the South Florida Fairgrounds just changed from what I understand. I'm dealing with a different person there. I'm trying to get a date there for like 2 years. And in April time, and I just haven't been able to do that. So I'm looking for a bigger space. I had originally planned on moving a bunch of stuff to Fort Lauderdale Convention Center, but they're just so hard to work with, and the cruise ship thing screws up the parking and all that. So that is a no-go down there. So that's why those are one-day events. Kissimmee, right now that show is sold out. My main goal here, I want customers to have a great time and I want them to find great stuff and all that. But because I'm doing shows every month, vendors have to make money. What happens is if we have too big of a show with too many vendors and you don't have the attendance to fill the place, then then those vendors aren't coming back. And those people are going to feel like, well, there's nobody here. Okay. We used to have, when we first started, we had the Osceola Heritage Park. We had the bigger space. So you either have the 5,000 square foot, which we've been using in the last few years, or you have 25,000 square feet. And the other space is just too big, because what they make you do is you now have to go to that whole security thing where they're scanning your bag. You're going through a metal detector, and then they force you to have security. That's like $1,500. It raises the price. And then on top of that, you can have 400 or 500 people in there, and it looks like there's nobody there. And then vendors who are new, okay, they go, oh, there's nobody in here. And I'm like, dude, there's 500 people in here. Okay. And so I'm not doing that. I'm not playing. I'd rather have a smaller show where vendors leave happy, customers leave happy, vendors leave happy. Everybody, people get a reasonable price for their table. I got a waiting list instead of trying to fill the space. I just, that's kind of been, we're sticking to what has worked. And Kissimmee we get about the same. We have a consistent number there.
Whether it's 1 day or 2 days, it's the same.
Oh, we haven't done a 2-day show there in a while, so I don't know.
But our numbers are about the same. We get maybe like a little bit more on Saturday.
Yeah,
and
we
less
get
on Sunday.
we get about the same numbers in Orlando, whether it's Avanti or Kissimmee. It really, and it doesn't matter. I can spend more money, but it really hasn't mattered. you know, and so that's why I've just kind of stuck with what works in Orlando, because I know roughly how many people are going to come. And you know, I mean, what was it, 3 years ago? I went home and I spent all that money on, like, think the second Super RetroCon, and I went home and I was probably $5,000 in the hole for that show, because I just, you know, I spent like $25,000 to try to get people there, and they just weren't coming. Then I traveled, I drove. You know, there's no hotels out there at the Osceola Heritage Park for guests to stay. So I had to drive them all the way back to iDrive and all that. That was just a disaster. I mean, it wasn't good. So we're sticking with what works. The Star Wars is just something that we've been doing, so that's why it's there. You know, it's a fun show, especially, you know, the early in the year one. The late other ones are spotty. Sarasota was real good last year. I assume it's going to be just as good as last year. That was a good 2-day show. And then you'll notice we're doing more 2-day shows this year. I felt after, and I'll get to some of you guys' comments here in just a minute. I felt after doing 2 Jacksonville shows this last year, and then both were just bangers. I mean, we had, 800 people to fit in a room that's smaller than our show yesterday. I mean, we, in 6 hours, that's a lot of people. And I mean, it may not be a lot of people to somebody like a fanboy or something like that. But when you're putting it into a 4,000 square foot space, which is all we could find, Prime Osborne is hard to book. Okay. Very hard to book. All right. You got Collective Con, Collector Con, Collective Anime Fest every other weekend up there. It seems like whenever I go to look for a space up there, it's very hard to book. And so I want to give, shout out to the River City WrestleFest, WrestleCon, I think. And turns out our friend Abe is related to the guy who runs that. And he's had success there. So I thought, I should maybe look into that location. And so now everybody is, I think, excited to go there. And so that's why we're there. And I'll talk a little bit more about, and so the rest of these are, okay. So we're going to be back at the fairgrounds in April. We haven't been to fairgrounds in April in Tampa since, for a couple of years now, 2023. And then we got this new show, Port St. Lucie, which we looked at this weekend. Let me go ahead and remove this. I'll go ahead and show you guys pictures I took. Here, let me bring that up. Let me share that again. And sorry if it's a little long a video, but okay, so let's look here. So this is the entryway. Didn't really get a good picture of that. So this is the room. This is one room. This is the main bigger room. This has got like this big dance floor on here, and these are all 8-foot tables. So there's 2 8-foot tables all the way down. Oh, there's another view of it here. It's a nice building. They got like a bar thing over there for the food. They were having some kind of celebration thing there. They have like a stage just like the other, but you can see how far it's over. I think this is like 50 feet wide by 100 feet, 96 feet long. And then this is another room that you go through like a hallway there where the black area is, and you come out in the corner over there. That's a really long bar over there. And this holds about another 30 tables. So in theory, we can have about 70 tables down there at Port St. Lucie. This is the view from where you would come in from the other room. There is another door that you can come in from the front. So our goal here is to fill both the rooms. So you got a good 70, and I always like to start with one day. Okay. I start off with one day. If we can do a 2-day show, if it can justify a 2-day show, then we do that. Okay, let me go back to some comments here. And again, that discussion was mostly on Shellhead Toys here, talking about why we doing one-day shows. And hey Zeta, how are you doing? And I'm coming to the Beretta Museum. Okay, let's look at
Chris Gonzalez.
yes, Stephen. I want to say, Stephen, thanks for coming out to the show. Sorry, we're going to miss you for the March 9th one. I'm not going to mention the show that you're going to be at, but you're going to be at some big card show down there. We'll still have Pokemon though, so I'm sure we're going to have a Pokemon vendor, at least one there at March 9th. There is a big card show down that way at March 9th, so that's why we won't have as many. Unfortunately, Collectible Monsters will not be there, but they were a great vendor, I will say. All right. Thank you. I'm looking forward to your help when you're coming over. All right. Hey, Chris. Now, I'm told Chris will be rejoining us in Kissimmee. Let's hope that happens. We haven't seen Chris in a while, so I know he's got his automotive business over there in Kissimmee, and visit him if you can. He support small business there. And okay. Okay, so we're gonna have Pixel Dan back. No, I don't see us having Pixel Dan back anytime, and maybe if we okay, I like Dan was awesome, okay, but what we need him when his book comes out, like I think he's doing a Turtles book right now, and we got him at the tail end of the He-Man book, but yeah, I would have him back, but I just I think he needs to be when his book has just come out, so it's new, because that's what he likes to do. He likes to bring his books and sell the books, but if everybody has it, then needless to say, I think I might have some books this weekend, Pixel Dan's books, because I bought whatever he didn't sold. He sent me like 5 cases to have at the show at the time, and then I think he sold some, and then I bought like a couple cases from him that, there. But yeah, we'd like to have Dan back, but we want to have some other guys too. All right, not worth for the vendors. Yeah, I mean, when I say low, it's just okay. It's not low, it's just an average. When we tried to do 2 days, I mean, we did that in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, we had killer show one day, and then we did it to 2 days, and it was the exact same number. So, yeah, they had, the first year shows were great, but we're doing way better now, actually, for numbers wise. I mean, Mark Moriarty, I don't know if he's still on here, but the first show that we did, where we are the only ones doing shows in June 2020, we had around 750 that day at the show, and we had building wrapped around the building. That was only 5,000 square feet, I think, at Apopka. And they nowadays, like, that's our like average show. Like, we do more than, we do that. So I mean, we were doing good, but certainly the costs were different. I mean, now everything is more. And yeah, I'm working on figuring out how to do that. We just got to pick a weekend. I'm not doing a show. I'm gonna come up there. All right, let's. Yeah, I do. Well, yeah, we're still kind of figuring out. My wife and other people say that I need to be at a show. Like, I was thinking, so I'm just going to talk about Ed's North Carolina thing real quick. I had this idea that TK's probably not on here, but TK could run the show, and we could have family members run the front, and then I could go and do on the same weekend, I could go do a show somewhere else, like North Carolina or whatever, up there with Ed. And they were like, no, no, you got to be at the show. People expect to see you. So I'm like, okay. Whereas TK will tell you that nobody cares about seeing me. I don't know about that. We'll see. All right, let's see. Bringing 5,000 cards. To the next show. Okay, but people might be looking for Pokemon there, Mark.
Well, there were people asking about sports cards too yesterday.
Yeah, we had people asking about sports cards, and Mark is the one with the sports cards usually at the show. So when I say, hey, we have some, let's see, and then okay, I don't remember what this might be. So maybe another comment will clarify that. Yeah, COVID year. Okay, Fort Myers, please. Okay. Okay, so let me talk about Fort Myers. That's okay. We'll do that, and then I'm gonna go over some more of these.
Let's get to Fort Myers. You're playing the same record here.
You know, let me do what I want to do. This is my video.
I'm just saying, you're playing the same record.
Okay.
Right, Momo?
Okay, let me share this. A picture from the last show. Right. Okay. So this is Fort Myers last time. We are not going to be we are going to be in a space that's this same exact size. This is not this doesn't really do the room justice. Okay, I'm going to say that because this is actually it's 10,000 square feet. And so this was a picture of the show at some point. Was it 9:56? It was steady. I don't have the picture to show you here right now, but we had a good line there. We did. I mean, that was a really, really good show, right? Wouldn't you say, Lisa?
Yeah, we had steady people all day.
Yeah, steady people all day. Where is my thing here? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Let me go ahead and show you another picture of that hotel. And where is that? Okay. So this is the whole room here. So you'll notice this line here in the middle, and then there's another cross beam there in the middle. So each of these 4 sections are like 5,000 square feet. So we have this, the whole thing is like 30,000 square feet, and we have like, like a third, the left third this time. I don't have the picture to show you, but we have this, we're on the side where the portico is, where you would drive up under the convention center, like where you'd pull up on the side. And then we're kind of on the opposite side from where we were if you went to the show last time. And yeah, if you went to the show last time, we're on the opposite side, and we got the big foyer area, where we're hopefully we're gonna have the 501st. I have not heard from them in a little bit, so I don't know, but I'm gonna bring my own stuff. I'm bringing my trailer with some statues, and I'm gonna look at the bat pod. It's been in the trailer for a while. I need to look and see condition and stuff, but I may bring that just to set up for display. And what?
Bring your air compressor.
Yeah, I have a whatever. Move on.
Well, you got flat tires on it.
Well, it's been sitting for a little while. Anyway, so okay. All right. Yeah, and so let me talk about Fort Myers. So again, the hours are going to be 9 to 4, our standard time. Okay, it's $10. It's at the Calusa Sound Convention Center, which is by the water. Vendors, they'll have parking across the street if you have a trailer or something like that. And then there is a parking garage behind the building, behind that center. And there is some parking in the front of the building too. I don't remember if there was a cost. I think it depends on how long you're there, or it might be a weekend. I don't remember that part. I might be setting up myself.
It was a day rate.
What was a day rate?
I want to say it was a day rate, but
Okay. I might be setting up and selling some stuff, because we won't have our buddy Mark there. He has a family thing, but you may see Jeff setting up to sell some of this stuff that you see, or actually nothing in this view I am selling. So so anyway, okay.
Teaser.
And I do have still a few tables open, just mostly aisles. All the walls are gone. And then I think that's all the notes I have here.
Bring some Pixel Dan books.
Yeah, I will bring Pixel Dan books. When is Shellhead gonna come down to Fort Myers, man? Okay. You're excited for Sarasota, but you haven't signed up, Tony. When are you signing up? The thing's been up for a month. Let's go. Did fairly well. New customers. Yes, it's a great venue. And TK. Yeah, well, I'm waiting for TK to get back to me. So if TK, if you're on here, I haven't heard from you. You said you were getting back to me today. All right, and right, Scooter. Okay. All right. Setup is at 6:30. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and I put this in the email. If you're a vendor of mine, you'll know that I send the setup information. So my process is I have to make sure the map is sent to the venue, and then I reconfirm all of the times with the venue. And then I don't have, a lot of these shows, they're doing one show a year. They're doing 2 shows a year. Maybe they're doing 4 shows a year, and they can send out their setup times a month out. But not me. I don't do that way. So I do it the week of the event, and it's always basically I have a standard time, which is 6:30 in the morning at the venue when we're doing a one-day show. When we're in this particular case, we will have some time on Saturday to set up, and on Saturday night I made sure to get some time because of the amount of space that we have there. It is 10,000 square feet. I think. Trying to remember how many tables that is. It's about 90 tables, 96 foots, because I think they only have 6 foots there. Anyway, but and so I reconfirm everything with the venue, make sure all the times are there, who I'm meeting with, and all of that. And then after that, I make up a map and I send out a link to everybody's cell phone. I'm kind of giving out information maybe of how I do things, but basically you're going to get an email and a text, at some point in the next probably 2 days. My normal schedule is when I do a show, I usually do a Monday. I usually am off that day, even though I'm not really off because I'm just unpacking my car, which I haven't really done yet. And then I'm just catching up on emails and stuff like that after the show. And then Tuesday, we're going to be back at promoting the next event, and of course we have our ads running and stuff like that. So I try to I pretty much do, with the exception of my wife handling the front and TK handling being there, or Sean being there, or somebody else helping at the show. I pretty much do everything you see. Okay, so I'm booking the venue, I'm posting the posts and all that. I'm gonna get somebody eventually to take over some of this stuff, but I just haven't gotten that far. It's just been it's a small operation. Try to do the best we can though. But thanks. Hopefully that helps you guys out. And again, so like 6:30 a.m. or Saturday night is going to be set up for those vendors that are watching. All right. So again, we have a show this weekend. I appreciate everybody being here on the live. Again, I want to reiterate that we're going to be doing more videos. I'm going to be posting links on the page to the videos that I post. I'm planning on doing all kinds of different stuff. I want to show a couple things. Give me a second here, and then I'll be back. Oh, that's how in there. We got a couple other things, but this is the piece that I'll. All right, so you guys remember I was at the store last week, Anthony's store, and so that piqued my interest here, and so this weekend I was able to pick up the early bird certificate, just the mailer part, not obviously the figures. Mark did have the figures though. I think he's keeping those, so it's in decent condition. So it's kind of interesting because the way they made it. So this isn't graded. It's in a slide bottom, and so inside it has the stand and the little sticker thing. So the stand looks like this here. So I thought that was pretty cool. Kind of hard to pass up. So anyway, he said that he had one, and I said, well, I'm interested in that. So anyway, I did get a couple other things that I just don't have really available to show you, but I'm going to be doing more videos, and I'll be showing off some different things. Openings. I got a bunch of different stuff recently that I'll be talking about. Anyway, so. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for watching. I may do another video on Thursday before the show. Hopefully I get some pictures, and that way I can preview if a vendor wants to come on and talk about what they're bringing. And you're watching now, you're walking through. I'm going to put that out there. So again, we're going to be in Fort Myers on Sunday. I'm looking forward to a great show. We have more interest than we had even in this show and this last weekend. And so I'm looking forward to a great event here in Fort Myers this weekend. I will see you guys later. Enjoy your evening and your week, and there are going to be lots of posts to come. Have a great day. Great evening.